p.m. August 28th for the community meeting for the Caldor incident on Facebook and on Zoom. Our format is going to consist of an informational update, an operational update, a weather update, and then a fire behavior update. After that, we're going to take questions and answers from our online monitors and our SMEs that are here, our subject matter experts. Then we're going to have closing comments from our incident commander, and then we're going to conduct this meeting in Español, in Spanish. Después de esta cita, si un bombero habla español, ¿con qué pasó con este incendio? All right, for an informational update, the fire is currently 149,684 acres in size, 19% containment, and we have 3,302 firefighters fighting this fight on the ground and in the air. We still have 18,347 structures that remain in threat as the firefighters continue to work this incident. We want to remind everybody, for information, it's disseminated from this incident, happens twice daily, minimum, at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. We send out these information update sheets at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. We encourage everybody not only to follow us on social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, but to sign up for the email notifications. That way you'll get anything that's disseminated, anything that's sent out from this incident, you will receive, from evacuation notices to incident updates and more. Additionally, there's a QR code that we put everywhere online, and you see those out in the public as well on hard copy on papers in our information boards. Please take your phone and scan that. That'll populate 16 different links that'll give you any and everything you need to know about this respective incident. And lastly, we have an information line that we have public information officers that'll answer that phone and take your questions or concerns. That number is 530-303-2455. At this time, we're going to get an operational update from our operations section chief.
Good afternoon, Cody Bogan, Operations Section Chief, Incident Management Team 5. I'll give you guys an operational update of the incident. So starting over here in Division Alpha towards the hill of the fire, Division Alpha is holding real well. We're at patrol status all through Division Alpha. Things have been looking real good. As we come up into Division Delta, the troops are currently they're in a pretty good firefight out there. They've been working on a firing operation all morning, all afternoon, and they're currently in the middle of that firing operation. We come up out of Division Delta into Division Foxtrot towards Highway 50. Things are looking real good around the lake. As we get closer to Highway 50, the troops have been finishing up some primary lines and working it back into the 50 there. So we get up into Division Gulf Hotel and to the edge of India, same thing. Troops are mopping up, patrolling, working around the back of the structures and finishing up a little bit of the primary line right down along the river. We come up out of India. On the north side of Highway 50, we still do have some open line on the slot from 4 or 5 shifts ago. The troops are working on dozer line up on the north side of that and working on bringing that fire back down into Highway 50. As we come around to the south side of Highway 50 in Division Juliet, the troops, again, they're in a firefight out there right now as we speak. They do have a couple spot fires that they're chasing down, and it sounds like aircraft visibility just got good enough and they're starting to be able to work some aircraft in there. So hopefully, as the sun goes down, they'll be able to pick up those spot fires and get that contained. As we come around the corner of Division Juliet down into Division Lima, they've been working on a firing operation for the last couple shifts. They had pretty good success last night. As they went into this afternoon with that firing operation, they had to hold it up due to fire activity. But hopefully this afternoon, as the sun goes down, they can get back into that firing operation and finish bringing that fire down out of Juliet, down in towards Division November. As we get past Division November and into Division Papa, they had a couple spot fires last night that they've been working on today. They've had pretty good success getting around those spot fires. Past Division Papa, on through R, T, and U, down through Branch 30, everything's looking real good, and we're into patrol status down through that area. With that, that's the end of the report.
Good evening, everybody. Incident meteorologist Jim Dudley with the updated weather for the Caldor Fire incident. We've had a couple of hot, dry days. Today has been the hottest, driest day so far on the fire, and we've had winds on the fire that have been generated by the terrain itself. Not a lot of winds aloft blowing the smoke around. We are expecting a big change in the weather pattern coming in Sunday night and more likely on Monday, as we are going to increase the wind flow across the fire area from the southwest as weather patterns change. They always do, and this is our change that's coming up. So what will happen is we're going to get a lot of the winds that have been affecting the fire on the ground level, just generated by the actual earth and terrain itself, are going to be aided by southwesterly winds aloft. And those are going to begin Sunday night and increase in speeds on Monday, and they will persist through Monday night and into Tuesday. So given the additional wind we expect on the fire, the National Weather Service in both Reno and Sacramento has issued a fire weather watch for gusty southwest winds and low relative humidity, which takes effect at 11 a.m. on Monday and is in effect through Tuesday evening. So what kind of speeds are we expecting? We're expecting gusts to as high as 25 to 30 miles an hour on Monday as the winds sweep up from the southwest. And then on Tuesday, they could actually be a little bit stronger. We could see some gusts to maybe 35 miles an hour, especially up on the ridge lines. Okay? Tomorrow is Sunday, and the winds are not going to be nearly as strong as they will be on Monday and Tuesday. So we have one more day of fairly light winds across the fire, and then things change later Sunday night, Monday, and they will continue into Tuesday. And that is why the fire weather watch will be taking effect on Monday at 11 a.m. and lasting through Tuesday. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Stephen Vollmer, the Fire Behavior Analyst with Incident Management Team 6. So you heard the meteorologist talk about the winds that are coming into the area on Monday. So right now we have what are called diurnal winds, up canyon, down canyon winds that happen each day. This fire is in an area that has multiple deep, steep drainages. We have a saying, where water flows, wind goes. And so you can see all the problem areas on the fire that we've had issues have been in those deep, steep drainages along Highway 50, along Slug Gulch, and down in Camp Creek. Those drainages continue to get winds through them every day in the morning, and then they shift direction in the evening, and then they shift again in the morning. That's continuing to throw spot fires out for all the ground resources along Highway 50, down in Camp Creek, and Slug Gulch. Currently, the spotting distance is up to 3/4 of a mile, and the probability of ignition of those spots creating new fires that we have to initiate action on is 90%. In the days to come, we'll see that increase up to 95%, and we'll see that spotting distance stay around 3/4 of a mile. Right now, we've got a lot of heavy dead down material inside of this fire area. The area has very little fire history dating back to 1940 and almost no recorded fire history before 1940. There is a large amount of extremely large diameter logs that are still cooking on fire. They're still burning down, and they're still producing all of that smoke that we have up in the atmosphere. We can expect that to hinder the operation because it reduces our visibility. During the evening, we're also going to see an inversion layer sit in. That's like a lid on a frying pan. That'll hold the heat in and will allow all those embers to continue to burn and smolder. Once the lid comes off of that frying pan and the inversion breaks, we're going to expect to see the increased fire activity like we did again today. We'll see that again tomorrow, and we will really see it again on Monday morning once the inversion breaks for that last time.
Thank you, sir. Okay, this time we're going to do questions and answers. And the last person to do questions and answers will be one of our incident commanders. And then he'll give closing comments. And then as a reminder after that, we're going to do a condensed version of this meeting in Espanol. So one of the questions that we continue to see out there is that they ask about why is there so much media in the fire area. And so we want to share with everybody, the media has the right to be there per California Penal Code 409.5. What they don't have the right to do is impede the safety or operations of the firefighters, and we make sure we address that accordingly. Additionally, they don't have the right to be on private property without the permission of that respective owner. So if that is taking place, please call the public information line that we provided. In fact, I'll provide it one more time. It's 530-303-2455. And again, that's all over social media and anything that we disseminate from this respective incident. So we would like to know that. We like to maintain our positive partnerships that we do have with our media. They help get information out to the addition of all our different other outlets. So that's why you see them out there, because they have that right. So thank you for that question.
Good afternoon. My name is Eric Lee. I'm the law enforcement liaison for Team 6. A couple of questions I'm going to answer for you guys. First of all, one of the questions that came up had to do with repopulation and when we're going to look at that and start to decide when that's going to happen for the unaffected areas. We actually do that every single day. We have an evacuation and repopulation meeting every day to try to determine what areas are safe to let people in. Now, some of those unaffected areas are still evacuated, and the reason for that is because we need to make sure that it's clear for the ingress and egress of the fire equipment and the firefighters to get in there. Often they'll have hoses laying across the roadways and other obstructions, and so we do that to keep it safe for the firefighters so that they can do their job and try to get this thing out. I'm going to step over here to a map now, kind of behind here. And if we look right here on this map, this indicates the evacuation areas, mandatory evacuation areas, and also the warnings. Yesterday, last evening, we actually had to do another mandatory evacuation, and we split the zone of leisure into leisure and Springer. And the reason we did that is because whenever we have to evacuate an area, we always make sure that we evacuate the least amount of people that we need to. So as we did that, we thought, okay, we don't need to go all the way out and do the entire zone. We're going to mitigate that a little bit. We're going to cut it in half, and that way we can evacuate that area where the firefight's going to go on and where apparatus needs to move around, and we can leave the rest of it in a warning. So that's why that was done, and that was done in collaboration with the local sheriff's department and the California Highway Patrol. So thank you very much.
Hi, Simon Brown, El Dorado County Sheriff, Public Information Officer. One of the questions we get from time to time is an update looking for the missing person from Grizzly Flats. Marvin Creel went missing on the 18th after already being evacuated from the area. We don't have an update right now. We are still looking for him. If you have any information, please contact our office. We're going to look into any tips. Our investigation team will assist with following up on those if you have anything. Thank you.
Good evening, Dusty Martin, one of the Unified Incident Commanders. So I got a couple of questions, and a lot of questions online that are concerning and asking questions about Division Delta. So Division Delta, as was stated by the operations section, has been in a continuous firefight for the last couple of days. There were some questions about how is it going against the wind. So our fires are driven by a couple of different things: wind, fuel, and topography. And as we get in there, our IMAT talked about the weather. There's a bunch of different drainages and tributaries that will push wind against the normal southwest flow. One thing to understand is that at nighttime we have the winds that come down canyon that then pushes back down onto that side of the fire. And then as the day goes through and the heating goes in the valley, the winds pick up and go back to southwest. But they do find the different drainages and tributaries that funnel the wind, which are becoming problematic. There's not a consistent wind. It may go one way, we get a wind shift shortly thereafter. We're trying to get the best information we can out to you regarding this area. However, trying to get that information from the folks on the ground, we need to keep them within the firefight. I can tell you that in this Division Delta area, the fire has not reached Mount Occam Road. It is still fairly well east of Mount Occam Road, and our folks are out there doing everything they can to get that to you. In tomorrow morning's operations update, we will have the operations section chief that's made it through the night We'll talk about Division Delta fairly specifically as we can get in there with some additional roads in that. But I do want you to know that we are still very actively engaged in here and is not hitting Mount Auckham Road. Over here, as operations talked about in Division Juliet, we do have those winds surfacing today in Juliet and Ida, and we are getting spots out in front of this. We have reallocated a bunch of resources around the fire to get up into those two areas and to attack it with everything that we have today. But as you can imagine, as this fire goes towards the east, the smoke column lays over and it does not make it advantageous for our aircraft to get in there. It's too smoky and the air is not very good for that. So we are continuing to work there, and we're continuing to work really hard on the other side. There was a question about more info on first responder injuries, and does the 2 reported include the Galt PD? The 2 that are included are to firefighters that were actively engaged in firefighting per our information sheets. It does not include the Galt PD officer. The Galt PD officer was on his way to this incident on a mutual aid request through the Dorado County Sheriff's Department, and so they do not populate on our first responder injuries. So in closing for this evening, I just want you to know that we have every available resource actively engaged in the 2 main areas of this incident, on the west side and on the east side. However, we do need to keep resources on the north and south sides of this fire as well to make sure that we don't lose any ground that we've already worked very hard for. All of our personnel are still actively engaged, working the long hours, day in, day out, some of them working 36 and up to 48 hours straight to keep this where we have it. We are getting more resources in little by little each day, and we will continue to surge those resources as we get them in. Thank you, and have a great evening.
Thank you, Chief. Okay, at this time, we're going to conduct our meeting in a condensed version of Spanish, en español.
Hola, buenas tardes. Ricardo Tlapala, vocero, California Incident Management Team 6. Con la actualización de hoy, el 28 de agosto, bienvenidos a nuestra comunidad, junta de comunidad virtual vía Zoom y Facebook. En actualización, el incendio ha consumido 149,684 acres. Está a 19% de contenimiento y tenemos a 3,302 bomberos comprometidos en la batalla, en el aire y en la tierra. Les quiero recomendar que nuestra oficina de información publica la actualización más corriente 2 veces al día, a las 7 de la mañana y a las 7 de la noche. También publicamos una actualización en español 1 vez al día tras nuestro servicio de traducción. Cualquier información que ustedes estén buscando, por favor, llámenos al área 530-303-2455. Otra vez, área 530-303-2455. Les voy a dar el sumario de nuestra junta, el sumario operativo, y en ese operativo voy a incluir las preguntas que les preguntaron a nuestros comandantes, a nuestro meteorólogo y a nuestros oficiales. Al sur, el incendio sigue bajo control. Lo que vemos en la división PAL, vemos que el incendio todavía sigue activo, pero tenemos líneas de contención y de control y tenemos a equipos que están trabajando en el área para remover toda la calentura del incendio para apagarlo. Donde vemos la más actividad debido a los vientos que estamos tenido en esta área, División A y División J son las que siguen activas. Lo que hemos visto en la División A es que por los vientos creados por el terreno y la condición crítica de todos los combustibles tenemos ascuas. Esas ascuas están sido lanzadas por el viento y han causado retos para nuestros bomberos. Las condiciones en la mañana por el nivel de inversión no han sido buenas para nosotros. Lo que es una inversión es un sistema que mantiene toda la calentura y todos los vientos leves y no nos sirve para nosotros para poder volar y usar unidades aéreas. Nos tenemos que esperar más tarde hasta que se pase el humo para poder usar mecánicos, aerotanques y nuestros helicópteros. Entonces aquí vemos que las unidades de piso siguen luchando el incendio. Pasado la división D, vemos línea de control que no se ha movido. Lo que vemos hacia el norte es que tenemos nuestras líneas de contingencia y nuestras líneas de control. El incendio sigue activo, pero como les he dicho, que debido al terreno y que el terreno maneja esos vientos, también vemos problemas que pueden propagar la actividad del incendio. A la división I y la división H todavía estamos controlando un fuego que fue causado por la ascua hace 5 operaciones, pero los equipos y las unidades que tenemos en esa área han hecho buen trabajo para controlar el incendio y siguen luchando ahí. La división J sigue siendo una de nuestras prioridades, donde vemos más actividad y la lanza de las ascuas. Cuando nos permiten las condiciones, podemos usar aerotanques para echar agua para apagar el incendio. También tenemos muchas unidades, tenemos carrillas de mano y tenemos equipo mecánico metiendo líneas de control y contención. Nuestro gol es prevenir que siga moviéndose al oeste. Lo que quiere recordarles nuestro meteorólogo es que este fin de semana vamos a ver unos vientos muy leves, pero sí vamos a entrar a una advertencia de actividad de fuego, donde vamos a ver que la velocidad de los vientos va a subir. Entonces, tenemos todas nuestras unidades comprometidas para prevenir que siga el incendio creciendo. En este momento, les quiero dar un mensaje a todas las personales ancillarias de parte de nuestro comandante y de nuestro equipo administrativo, a todo el personal auxiliar que nos está ayudando, las personas que corren el campo, los que nos dan de comer, limpian todas las facilidades. El comandante y el equipo les quieren dar las gracias. Otra vez, para la información más corriente, asegúrense que nos sigan en nuestras redes sociales, Facebook, Instagram y Twitter. Y que tengan buenas noches y eso es todo de mi reporte. Gracias.